Oh my God, we're live. Look at that. Are you there?
Hey, you there?
Yeah.
Hey, sorry, my internet was on the flip. So
Oh, you're good.
you know how to record this.
Yes, we are broadcasting live to YouTube right now. So we can
Beautiful.
actually post a link on Facebook if we wanted to, but I'm not going to do that. So because
Okay, excellent.
who wants to watch us live, really? I mean,
Well, I don't know,
I don't know. We might. You
but
want
that's
to try
awesome.
it? Let's try it. I've never
Yeah,
done
let's go
it.
ahead. Let's go ahead. How you doing, man?
I'm good, dude. What's been going on, man? Like how is life
Dude,
treating
it's
you?
cool. I've been writing a book lately on demo
Really?
reels, which has been kind of mastering the reel. That's my
Oh, dude,
that's the
nice.
title. It's basically a conversation about how to.
Are you there? You lost
Wait, yeah,
your
okay,
video
yeah,
cut
yeah,
out again.
yeah. Sorry.
There you go.
It's essentially to have a relationship to the amount of footage that exists that conveys who we are to the world, and how to kind of be senior and like the master of that universe rather than letting it confine you and box you in career wise, which is something I think increasingly applies not just to us as filmmakers or to actors, but increasingly anybody with a business of any sort. So that's
Absolutely.
yeah. So I've already gotten about a chapter and a half of that written. I've been plowing into that. I've also been shooting a bunch of demo reels. Just shot like a fantasy scene where like a girl
Nice.
like shrinks this guy, and then I have like an action scene coming up as well. So that's basically what's going on in my world. What about you?
Awesome, man, dude. That's great, man. So big news. I just sold all of my equipment. I have like nothing in the closet now. And my new
What?
camera is, yeah, my new camera is about to be gone, sold on eBay. I'm doing a massive upgrade. We're getting a new drone, new GoPros, I'm switching back to Canon actually.
Okay,
So,
interesting. Which one?
Canon 1DX Mark II does 4K video.
Oh, the
Yeah, dude.
1DX.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm going all
dude.
in with Canon
I
again.
have been looking at that one for a
Yeah,
long
dude. It's
like
pretty
wait,
awesome.
that's like the nice one, right? With
Yeah,
this
yeah,
this
yeah.
line.
That's
Uh,
the entry level of like their cinema professional series or whatever, but it does 4K
okay.
and it's weather sealed and everything. So
Is it different from the 1D or is it the
um
same one?
it's in the same series. It's the Mark II. It's like the new one of this series. I think I have a picture of it.
Yeah, I
Um,
definitely was leaning towards buying that. That was like my next choice after the Ursa. Whenever I was shopping initially was the Mark One
yeah.
D.
Well, I'm excited about it because I've been doing a lot more like run and gun outdoor filming, and I need something that is weather sealed, something that's like ready to rock and roll, and that I can also take stills on. And that Sony was just too big, and I didn't love the colors on it. That's the one DX Mark
Yeah,
II. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
pretty sexy, isn't it?
yeah. Well, and also it's useful because it's just a new body, but you get to keep all of your old lenses. I'm assuming, right?
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
And so, I mean, I'm used to the 5D Mark III. I love that thing. Everybody loved my work when I was shooting on that. I mean, I think I still have a lot of followers and stuff, but the colors on Sony are so muted, it drives me nuts. And it doesn't matter how much I ramp up my saturation in post, that just still has this like dull quality, if you will. But
yeah, yeah,
so anyway, so that's kind of where I'm leaning, is just going back to the reason I got into this was to do videos all the time for YouTube, serve my clients the best I can, and be a video creator that does it all the time. And the Sony that I have just kind of didn't really lend itself to me being creative all the time. It was so
yeah.
much more of a hassle to take out and set up and go through the menus and deal with all that. And I just need something that I can pick up, turn on, and start shooting like badass video all at once.
Yeah, I agree, man. Portability and and just yeah, like the quick like the time that it takes to pull it out of the camera case and start shooting, like that really matters, particularly when you're a one-man band serving clients, you know, in a low budget environment. Then you know, that does end up mattering, because, you know, you talk about a Red camera or an Alexa or any of the high-end cameras, those things have a lot of different components. And for what it sounded like, your camera that you've been shooting on, the Sony, was a similar world where there was a big amount of just sort of assembly required in order to get that thing going.
Yeah, and it was, I mean, the main thing was the menus. I mean, the menus were like 10 options deep and then like 20 something options on each part of the menu. And with the Canon, you can just kind of go into the main menus and get to pretty much everything you want. If you want to get really deep into them, you can, but you don't have to just to use it. Just to format my cards on the Sony took me a full 2.5 minutes just to format cards. Just because of where it was in the menu. And then as soon as you selected it, it took you all the way out of the menu, and to format the second card, you had to go back in. And it's just stuff like that like, I really liked it from a videography standpoint. As far as like a documentary camera, I think it was perfect. But for me, having the absolute best image quality and being able to shoot stuff that I'm really, really proud of the image quality and love the color on, that's why I want to go back to Canon. I loved it when I was on the 5D. It just didn't have the 4K. And the 1DX Mark II has 4K and 60 frames a second, which will allow me to do 4K slow motion to an extent.
What's the compression on it?
It's like 500 gigabytes or something, or 500 megabytes per second as far as
using like the AVC.
It's actually MJPEG video, which is kind of, it's Canon's own little codec, and it's wrapped as, I think it's wrapped as an MOV file. So it's pretty much all prepared for you. It has sound and everything. It just essentially takes a photo, like a digital photo, without clicking the shutter, but, you know, a digital photo every frame that you're shooting for. And so the files are huge. Like, you fill up, they said you can only get like 16 minutes of 4K 60 frames a second footage on a 128 gigabyte card. So it takes a lot of room, but I'm not always going to be shooting in 60 frames a second. They said you can like quadruple that if you're just 4K 24 frames a second. So I can still get almost an hour on a card at 4K 24. But then I have that option to, if I'm shooting a dirt bike, get 60 frames a second when they do a jump and do that awesome slow-mo and stuff, you know. And that's what I hated about the Sony. I could do the really cool slow-mo, but it just downgraded it so much to the 1080, you know. And people these days, even the new iPhone, it has better resolution than 1080 on the screen. I mean, so, you know, I really am trying to keep up with quality. And the other thing we're getting to is we're upgrading to this drone set.
Nice.
It folds up. One thing I love about it, it's the DJI Mavic Pro. Basically, it folds up, and then it'll fit in my kit bag with me. So if I come up and visit you, boom, I can bring a drone with me, and we can be flying in downtown LA in no time, instead of me having to take this huge box with me or a separate backpack. I mean, this thing is like this big, so I can just pop that right in my kit, and I'm ready. So I stripped my kit down from all the big crap that I had, and I even sold my gimbal, which I loved, but I'm getting the new big glide cam that folds up, and it's easier to travel with too. Just trying to have everything, like, you know, my whole film kit in one bag, so I never have a reason not to have it with me.
What stories are you telling these days? What like how is all of this facilitating a, you know, storyteller universe?
Absolutely. You know, I've really invested a lot more in YouTube. Been working on getting my subscribers up, and I'm doing a lot more Facebook cuts of these videos. I love telling outdoor stories. I like people to watch my videos and go, man, I want to go do that. That sounds awesome. I love what he's doing. You know, I hate sitting at this desk. I think this weekend I'm going to go outside. I'm going to go hike at my local state park or something like that. You know, I'm going to go take my dog on a walk. I want to inspire people to get off their butts and get outside and go play and have a wonderful time. And those are the kind of stories I'm starting to be able to tell more and more, and especially making this move to some more compact equipment, higher quality, more compact, easier to travel with. I have no reason not to tell a story every week. And that's kind of my creative challenge, is tell one story, one great story every week. And I've been partnering with a lot of local people and business owners to do special interest pieces on them. And then they help me out with the back end of my YouTube channel so that I can make a living off of this. And, you know, it goes back and forth. They get a great video and I make sure it gets views on YouTube. So I'm able to do that and tell these great stories. And instead of a client coming to me now and saying, hey, we want to do this, ... And then I have to charge them, you know, this big chunk of change to do that, I'm able to go to them and say, hey, I like what you're doing. I want to share that with a lot of people. And then in turn, they're able to help me out with basically sponsoring a video with me, or what we call partnering on a video. And that's how I'm able to make a video every single week. And then eventually, and I'm starting to make a little bit of tiny money on YouTube. So I'm watching that kind of start to grow, which is pretty cool. So eventually I'll have some supplemental income from YouTube, and also just getting to work with the coolest people. I just worked with a guy that has this micro farm in his backyard. I don't know if you saw that video, but that kind of story to me is the most interesting thing, is to watch people take their passions and run with them. And that's what I want to do. I want to work with professional athletes, with entrepreneurs, anything that has to do with outdoors and motivation and inspiration. Those are the stories I want to tell. And I'm going into 2017. That's my focus 100%. And I've really tried to just let go of the whole concept of doing video production as a means to just make a living and just trying to promote a film company. I know I have more to offer than just a film company, and I'm able to tell stories through me as CubKuker, which is why I changed my YouTube channel and everything over to that, than as Kuker Films, because Kuker Films lends itself to the client telling me what to do, and CubKuker lends itself to the client liking what I do and in turn wanting to work with me. And so far I've had great response from it, and I feel so much happier deeply creatively that I know it was the right move. It is a transition period, and it is an uphill battle, and it's something I'm working on every day. But the payoff already, and the people I've been able to work with, has totally been worth it. And I know that it's growing in that right direction. And so really looking forward to seeing where that goes in 2017. And I love telling stories. That's where this is all going. So.
You bring up an interesting point, and we've obviously talked about it before, but it's something I think bears repeating. You are more inspiring as yourself than as a business.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Who is CubKuker?
I don't know. You tell me. No. I think I am a creative force to be reckoned with. I mean, honestly, my whole life, anything I've been able to put my hands on, I've been able to make it my own and put my own special flair on it, whether it be set design, traditional painting and artwork, remodeling my home, anything that is. I'm talented and I'm passionate, and I think being able to put my mark on it and have consistency through that is where I'm going to find success. And that's where I find my happiness in that. And it's not to say that I'm this wonderful person, everyone look at me. And I think it could be misconstrued that way, but that's where marketing is going. That's where the internet is going. People want to follow other people and be inspired by people. And me as CubKuker, I have a passion to do that. I love having conversations with people, and videos are a way to have conversations with people. And they aren't just one-way conversations. You can comment, you can start a conversation with me. So I get to be more of who I am, and who I am is a very social person. And I think I'm in the right time period because social media is so big right now, and there's not a lot of people that really know how to use it. And especially in my area, I think we have a huge lack of knowledge as far as how to actually use social media. And we kind of criminalize it a lot around here, especially with the older crowd. And I just like to talk to people, and I love to tell my stories, hear other people's stories, and make people smile. And that's my whole life. I've told jokes. I've been the goofball at the party or in class, whatever. You know, I'm the guy that likes to make people smile. And I think that's where this puts me ahead of the competition, is because I love to share joy with people. So that is Cub in a nutshell right there. Is I want to bring people joy, period. That's it. Even if it's at my own expense, I will sacrifice myself all day long to make sure that whoever's around me walks away with a smile on their face.
That's I mean, that's good. I like that a lot. It's a powerful thing that you said, that around your area they criminalize social media, and I know what you mean by that. Not in that like people hate it, but that it's just not utilized, and people frown on it as a way of connecting to one another. And the thought that popped into my head is, where is it going? You know, because people our age understand that, but when 20 years rolls by, it's going to change just as much, if not a lot more.
Absolutely.
And what you're talking about is that it's more than just the video. You're a videographer, you're a filmmaker, that's your business, but to you, and I agree, it's about your personality, it's about you. Where is it going that professionals like ourselves should watch out for, to know how to facilitate connection among people?
I think it's honestly consistency. And the average person gets on social media, they don't understand that when they follow a big company like Darwin Carlisle corporate, that company puts a lot of time and money into making sure that their logo is the same across all platforms. Their banner photo at the top is the same across all platforms. Any specials that you're running would end up on that banner seasonally. People don't get that. And the user experience of social media, I think, is going towards a universalized experience where every social platform will have to tie into the other one, or it will die, because people do not want to work harder to communicate online. It should be easier, and therefore the user experience should be seamless, and the average person should not have to understand how to use certain elements of a social media platform over another one. It should just all do what it's supposed to, tie in together, collaborate with each other. You know, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, all of those are getting where they're starting to work better together. They're certainly not there yet, and there is a big learning curve if you're coming from Facebook going to one or the other, you know. So I think that's where it is going in the future, is just a more of a universalized user interface. And I think in 20 years, we're going to see potentially even one platform that integrates a lot of smaller platforms into it and a lot of smaller features and kind of absolves them into itself, so that the end user doesn't know the difference. That's just social media. It is what it is. And then people like us are going to have to understand how to use all those little facets and widgets and features to get our message out and communicate with our audience. So I think our job is a lot harder in the future than it even is now. And I think trying to communicate with our audiences is going to get more difficult with more and more content being put online. But that's why I'm starting now, so I can get my feet under me and be a part of this and be a part of the change in whichever direction that shifts. And so again, you know, people like our parents, you know, they get on Facebook, they click likes a few times, they post a comment to grandma and grandpa, something like that, and then they move on with their day. They don't, you know, they don't know the difference. But you and I sit there and we make sure our tags are right. We have to make sure that our videos are labeled correctly. We have to make sure that all of the profile picture is right to engage people like the average user to click on our stuff and communicate with us. And that therein lies the challenge. Is you can have the best message in the world, but if you don't dress it up right, nobody's going to click on it. And that's why a lot of videos that don't take very much time to make have millions of views on them, because they knew how to market those videos, but they didn't put any time into making them. And you and I spend a lot of time making our content, so we have to be extra careful to make sure that it's marketed correctly and it ends up in the right categories on the right platforms for the right people. So that's my opinion on it.
My question is, how do you go about making your content interactive? Because to me, when I look out over the next 20 years, I see the big word being connection.
Absolutely.
Where we are all participating. And video, while it's increasing in the technologies that are available to us to create it in the first place, as well as the ubiquity of its existence, it is nevertheless true that fundamental filmmaking facts are not going to change. You still need to know how to light a scene. You still need to know how to get good audio for the scene. You still need to know how to edit. And the more and more people are doing it, the more and more the professional style will rise to the top and be unique in the way that it looks. So the question is, how do you make that interactive such that people don't just watch it and say, wow, how pretty, but they actually participate, engage, get connected to it, feel it, and want to share it with somebody else?
Absolutely. And I think social media is going in a direction where that's going to be more and more possible. And the way we're going to view movies in 20 years is going to be an interactive experience. I think, like if you're watching The Hobbit, we just watched The Hobbit. In 20 years, if that movie were to be made in 20 years, I think you're going to be able to go along and almost tell the characters, take that path. I want to see that path. And then boom, they go down this path. And you can actually manipulate a storyline to an extent through that. And so basically when you shoot a movie, you're going to shoot several different scenarios. They've tried that a little bit with like Blu-ray content and stuff, but it's just so bad nobody wants to use it. When it becomes so seamless and you can almost just think it and it'll happen, or talk to your TV and it happens, and when it's easy to do, people are going to start doing it. Because how cool would that be if you could tell the Hobbit to go take the Mordor pass instead of down through the valley? That would be really cool. And then you get to see a whole different angle that you go and tell your buddy, oh, did you see that movie? And you're like, oh yeah, I loved it when they fought that ice giant. And you're like, wait, what ice giant? Boom, now you have to go back and watch it again. Now you have to have a new experience with the same content. And I think that, in 3D technology, 360 technology, and in 20 years, that's all going to be way different than it is now. I love 360 technology. I would shoot it all the time if I could. But the problem is, and in fact, a buddy of mine bought a 360 camera, one of the best ones on the market. The quality is just so poor now. Even though they're in 4K, the 4K is the 360 bubble. And so you're only looking at like a 480 image when you're done. And so it's just so bad, as far as the quality goes. When that becomes true 4K, that no matter where you're turned, you're looking at a 4K image, man, I'll use that all the time. How cool is that? You can walk around, you can go to Vegas, you can go to Disney World, and anybody could tilt their phone and just look around. I think that's really cool. And I love that kind of thing. I know a lot of people were digging on it for a while, but it just didn't hit as hard as, and I know a lot of the 360 camera manufacturers use bigger cameras to do their tests and prove their concept. And then when it went to the actual manufacturing of the product, the final end result wasn't as good. And I won't name any company names, but I did read a few articles on, that maybe it was played up a little more than it should have been. So I think that's between 360, user being able to manipulate a storyline, and then also conversations too, where if you're watching a movie, you can start having conversations with other people just like we are now, and we're live, so anybody can comment right now. And we would be able to see it pop up on the side here, which is cool. So it's just that involving people, that's why people tell stories. That's why people are filmmakers, is because they want to have a conversation. And the easier we can make that for the average person, the better off the whole film industry is going to be.
Having this conversation with you, I feel like now is the time for us to create a filmmaking challenge for one another.
Ooh, I like that. Okay.
What do you say? Let's do a 1 week filmmaking challenge that you and I both make like a 30-second video.
Okay.
With a theme. and we just play it back to back. We check back in and we see how, you know, how we both approached it and then talk about it. I feel like that would be a good ongoing thing for us to do. That would just be a lot of fun. And
so are you going home for Thanksgiving?
No, I'm sticking around here having a nice vegan Thanksgiving over here. It's gonna be fun.
What if we both shot some content and did just a short little 30-second, 1-minute movie on what our holiday was like, on what Thanksgiving means to us personally, and what is your experience having a vegan Thanksgiving? I mean, that's kind of a cool little.
I like that. Yeah, let's do that.
Because I'm doing the whole West Texas, smoking the turkey with my dad out back under a big metal building. So you know that kind of thing, and you're gonna have a vegan one. So what better way than to like?
That's excellent. So today's Wednesday, the 23rd. So how about in 1 week, on the 30th, we check back in and we debut our videos.
I love it. I love it. Let's do it. Okay, I'm gonna put it on the calendar. So
okay, 30 seconds. Let's say it, or 1 minute. Let's
do 1 minute. 1 minute.
1 minute. Okay, so 1 minute video.
That gives you time to set up a little storyline, do a little bit of content, and then end it. So I think that's
okay, dude. That's it. All right, I'm locked in. That's our show.
Perfect. Well, we're gonna stop here. I think this is a perfect broadcast. I'm gonna hit stop on the broadcast and then continue talking to you. So
all right, love you, bro.
Love you too, brother. This is where people watching post comment down below and give us some ideas for our film challenge. Let us know what you want for Christmas if you're a filmmaker, whatever that is. We are going to be doing some really cool giveaways on this YouTube channel, and more about that later. I know it's going to include drones, possibly some GoPros, stuff like that. So post down below what you want, and there'll be more details to come. Hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. Thanks, Darwin. Appreciate you. Peace.